I think the streets will never forget Ravel Morrison.
Remember Ravel Morrison?
Yeah. Let me tell you, Ravel is the best player of my generation.
Ravel, I grew up in the street. Ravel is a player from the street.
100%.
And he forget to leave the street.
Where would this guy be right now if he just focused and kept his head down? All of the legal issues and the most wild story. I made one on Dele Alli. This has nothing on the situation with Ravel Morrison. He has one of the wildest stories in football.
Who's the most gifted footballer in the UK at the moment? Like English football, and they reel off all these names, Harry Kane, blah, blah, blah. I said no. It's a guy called Ravel Morrison. Have you ever heard of him? They all look blank at me. Ravel Morrison is a fascinating study, and I would recommend anyone to read about him.
In the early 2000s, a talent emerges at Fletcher Moss Rangers, a local youth club, and gets scouted by Manchester United Academy. He quickly stands out of exceptional dribbling, vision and skill, compared to a young Lionel Messi by some observers. Part of the talented youth group including Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard. But controversy just followed him.
Let me tell you, Ravel is the best player of my generation, the generation 93 that I've seen.
Really?
Yes, there's no doubt. I'm telling you, confirmed, because people were saying it. I saw stuff, Neymar, quality, that we saw when he was at Santos. Ravel was doing this with us. And he was dribbling. Ravel's like taking it. He was making fun of everyone in training. Biggest talent of our generation, for sure.
By 2008, Ravel was cautioned for a common assault, a minor early offence and little detail reporting. But he's about to become a footballer and signs his professional contract in 2009 on his 17th birthday, and helps Manchester United win the FA Youth Cup in 2010 to 2011. But by early 2011, he was pleading guilty to 2 counts of witness intimidation related to intimidating a victim at knife point, mugging by associates, and receives a 12-month referral order, pays £1,445 in compensation and costs, avoids jail, but warned of consequences of future offences. The media labels him as troubled and questions Manchester United's handling of it. In May 2011, he's charged with assault and criminal damage after an argument with his girlfriend, a phone smashed and thrown out the window, and fined £600 for criminal damage, and advised to undergo domestic violence counselling, and continues as a youth/senior at Manchester United. Then he breaks into Manchester United's first team. He makes 3 senior appearances, all cup games and League Cup debut, part of squads winning Premier League in 2010 to 11 and Community Shield. His hype peaked as a wonder kid amid off-field distractions continued. There was concerns about lateness and discipline issues getting reported.
Remember Ravel Morrison?
Yeah.
We were playing a reserve game when I was doing a little bit of coaching, so with Warren Joyce. We was playing at Altrincham away, and he was sub Ravel. Now look, we all know the ability he had. It was unbelievable. We had 1 sub left, so it tells Ravel to warm up. And at Altrincham, you got the dugouts, and where you warm up is where the dressing room tunnel is. It's like to the right hand side a bit. So warm up, Ravel. We were looking for him. Come on, Ravel. Time to come on.
Yeah.
Not there. He'd gone down the tunnel, got changed, and fucked off home.
Why?
Don't know.
Did he ask?
He was the last sub. Ravel was like that. He could just disappear. He won't come in for training for 2 weeks, and you'd go and find him down at JJB playing 5-a-side with his mates. Now look, he had issues, of course he did, but what a talent, and he's just fucked off. He just went, where's Ravel?
By February 2012, he was reported and charged by the FA for a homophobic slur, the word faggot, on Twitter in response to criticism. He pleads guilty, fined £7,000 and receives a warning, but significant backlash online. He even as a youth broke into the England team year in, year out, and managed to get into the under-21s.
We thought you were the best at ping pong in England under 21s. Mate, I've got to give you a round of applause, mate. Look.
Side man.
He managed to get 4 appearances in England under-21s and scoring 2 goals, and actually had an altercation during a game. Morrison then at West Ham scored twice in a game, and it seems like he was going for a hat-trick. Late in the match, after a defensive error involving John Stones missing a header, the players were jogging back into position. Confronting Morrison, annoyed at his playing style, Zaha described him as moving like he was Ronaldinho while treating others as if they were no one, which frustrated him and led to words. Morrison pushed Zaha first, or thrust his arm, and Zaha shoved back, and they exchanged pushes and shoves before another player intervened and separated them, preventing it from escalating further. The scuffle was caught on camera and became a headline despite the win.
Everyone wants to be involved, then it needs to be tempered, doesn't it, Owen?
Well, they're not really involved. I mean, it's just a bit of, obviously they've had a discussion, altercation about something that's happened previous. But the fact of the matter is, this was a very poor Lithuanian side. This is a good performance, 5-0, and then you have a bit of negativity, and this probably might be the highlight or something that people will pick up on and say, why this? And
the two reportedly shook hands and made up on the pitch post-match, Morrison later said there was no ongoing issue in the dressing room, and Zaha didn't even return to the changing room right away or at all after the incident. The conversation was done, despite obviously it being highlighted in the media. Zaha revisited the story in interviews explaining his side, frustration of Morrison's showboating style and annoying the team, and saying it was a minor and no big fallout.
Yeah, you're playing, this is under 21s, and you lot are just absolutely fucking it up. And then you and Ravel Morrison.
I knew he was going to bring up that one.
Have a little bust
yeah, Lithuania. I remember that game, man. Like, he was just getting me mad. Like, it's just like, he was moving like, he was Ronaldinho and the rest of us are just no one. Like, he's getting the ball and he's just doing tricks, and the only time he passes it is if he really needs to.
Yeah.
And we just stood there with our hands on our hips whilst he's going past 6 Lithuanian players. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Was it that easy, or was it you just like...
It was that easy. Like, the team that we had, we had so much players. We had so much good players, man. And it's like, we can all do that. We can all hog the ball and go past all of them and do whatever.
Yeah.
But we're not doing it. We're trying to give a professional, what's it called? Like, play properly. Do you know what I mean? But he was just on his own thing. And I just had enough. And I was like, what are you doing? I was literally like, what?
Morrison addressed it again on the Under the Coach podcast, downplaying it heavily. It was never that deep. It happened on the pitch and it stayed on the pitch.
Like, he's come out and done something after it again. It was never that deep.
Wow.
I didn't get his argument, because it was at Lithuania.
Yeah.
I mean, what he was saying, he made you sound like the best player in the world. He was going, he had the ball, he was beating 6 and 7 players. And I'm like, pass us the ball, Rav. But he's like, did you score that game?
So it was me, do you remember Saido Barino?
Yeah.
So it was us two, we was both on 2 goals. Obviously you shouldn't really do it, but the game had like 15 minutes left, so we like talking, said, you can get a hat-trick. So obviously we've been both trying to get a hat-trick, so obviously I think I must have just shot one outside the area, and then from there it just tipped him over the ball.
But yeah, what he was saying was positive, like, he's beating all these players.
But even in that game, there was no, pass me the ball or do this, or before that.
It was after.
No, it was just like that one split second in the game was like, do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I didn't get it.
Was it heated after, like in the changing room, or did you?
No, he didn't come in the changing room after that. But there was no back and forth or nothing after that. There was nothing. It's just conversation was done. It happened on the pitch and it stayed on the pitch.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the changing room. There was no awkwardness or anything. Like, you can ask all the 21s that was there. There was nothing in the changing room after. So I've never understood it really. But
is it quite recently that he's come out and done that as well, or is that an old clip?
It was like 2 years ago he come out, or maybe a year and a half ago, and he's come out and said something again. It's like, I don't understand it. I wouldn't speak about it unless someone asked me.
Yeah.
And then if someone asked me, I'd just say, well, we had a little back and forth on the pitch. In the changing room, nothing happened.
Ravel Morrison actually ended up, after his career had not gone how he wanted it to, playing for Jamaica and switching over. And it's actually kind of wild, because so did Wilfried Zaha. He switched his alliance to Ivory Coast after also not getting in the team. He transfers to West Ham United. He gets a 650k initial fee, rising to 2.5 million, seen as a chance as a fresh start under Sam Allardyce. But issues were still happening.
What we've got to do with Ravel is keep his feet firmly on the ground and watch for head swelling. I mean, we don't want to be changing the size of our doors because we can't get his head through it.
Ravel Morrison was the best player I've ever seen. Bit strong. The boy was an absolute joke, honestly. I'm gutted that you all didn't get to see him more than you did, because that boy should have been the best player in the world. He was ridiculous. What I'd seen, Giggs, Bale, he would have been on a level with them boys. Remember that goal he scored against Tottenham? That was just before Christmas. The club had a bit of trouble with him. He wouldn't turn up for training. So he scored that goal, won the game. Me, Kev Nolan, Mark Noble had him at the back of the bus and got, right, Raf, this is you now. You know, everyone's speaking about you, seeing what you're doing. Keep it going, sort of thing. We trained Christmas Day to play Arsenal on the Boxing Day. We were in training, sitting on the bus at Upton Park. He just didn't turn up. And he just scored that goal against Tottenham whenever it was, and everyone was talking about it, and it was just that. So we thought we had him, and he was in, and his head was straight, and then he just fucked up.
He ends up getting loaned out to Birmingham City, where he has 27 appearances and 3 goals, shows flashes of brilliance but inconsistent. His strongest period actually come at Queen's Park Rangers. He helps win the Championship playoff, final/promotion.
And he has been divisive at the 2 clubs that he's been at before. So is that a personal gamble that you're taking?
It's a gamble, yeah, but you know, we've got good lads here. But you know, maybe we do need a little bit of a maverick on the pitch, someone who can do his own thing at times, you know, so it'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Impresses West Ham with the standout moments. His magnificent solo goal versus Tottenham and scores 13 goals in 33 starts across club and country in the 2013-14 season. But stuff was still happening. 2014, he's arrested and remanded briefly on charges of 2 counts of common assault, punching and slapping allegedly an ex-girlfriend and her mother, plus harassment over 4 years, alleged threats, including an acid attack and house explosion. He's released on bail and then all charges get dropped and cleared in January 2015. There was contradicted evidence and the case was discontinued. But still, even though the charges were dropped, it was heavily put out to the media that he has a troubled narrative about it. He has a brief loan spell then to Cardiff, and then eventually West Ham just say they're going to release him as a free agent after limited impact and ongoing issues.
He just wasn't capable of being a full-time professional mentally. I think he was diagnosed with ADHD though, in fairness to him, so I wouldn't say it was his fault. So as much as we tried to deal with it, he wouldn't.
And a lot have tried as well, haven't they?
A lot have tried, yeah. I always said to David Sullivan, like, I mean, if Alex can't sort him out, how do you think we can?
Probably about this time that the penny had dropped. You were playing him and he was playing well, and then
just lost it again. Like he ended up back in Manchester, and we had no idea where he was. And they'd see him on Instagram or Facebook and say he's in Manchester. We're supposed to be here training. God, Ravel went missing one Christmas once, and Mark Noble said he was back at home having Christmas dinner with his family. We were on the coach ready to go to our game away, I think it was. Because I let him have Christmas Day off with the families. I used to get brought in on Christmas Day and I used to hate it. Why are we coming in?
I know, I would say.
You know what I mean? So I always said to players, listen, if you want me to trust you, I'll let you have Christmas Day off. If you take the mickey out of me, then you'll never have Christmas Day off again. So then we meet up at night and then get ready for the game. We're waiting on the coach, and Nob says his gaffer, no point waiting for him, he's in Manchester with his family.
Does it just get the point where you give up?
Players give up on him as well.
Yeah.
Didn't want him around. He knackered then.
It's having a knock-on effect.
Nobby came in and said, we can't do with him anymore, gaffer.
Before we get into the next part of his career, what went wrong? I don't think we'll see more of an unhinged player. Tweeting stuff like, piss take, I cannot wait until the end of the season. Tweeting about Jamaica, end of the season means holiday time. Literally wearing an Arsenal top while he played for West Ham and having to apologise about it after. He was complaining on Twitter about not starting certain matches, and Rooney tweeted him once, might come sooner than you think. These were just wild times. This guy was something else. He had it all at Manchester United, and Alex Ferguson was disappointed and he didn't even want to speak about it.
Last week you answered about Ravel Morrison.
I've nothing to say about that. I'm not even going to get into that. Nothing to do with the game against Arsenal. I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
Ravel Morrison was from the streets. Like the story we told earlier, 2 of his friends committed a street robbery, reportedly at knife point, and Morrison was convicted, intimidating the 15-year-old victim. He had friends around him that was from the street still as he was pursuing his football career. He was accused at times of sending threatening messages, confronting the boy on the street with others, and throwing bricks through people's windows, and traumatising a family that they had to put their house up for sale. Obviously, Morrison was young then and pleaded guilty to that case, but he kept the wrong people around him. And apparently, back in the day, Sir Alex Ferguson himself decided he needed to leave Manchester to escape negative influences.
I think when he's one of those kids that is like, he's a cult. Didn't get to the heights of the other players I'll probably mention in terms of a career. But if I said, let's bring you back to when you were 16 years old, all of those players, he would be very near the top.
Is he in the States at the minute with
Wayne? Yeah, he was unplayable. Like I used to. There's been 2 players, young players, and I'll mention the other one after I've finished training as a first team player and said I'm going to spend a bit of time going and watching this kid train or play a match.
Wow, that exciting.
Right. I love watching the young players anyway. I've always been like that since I was a kid. I'll explain that again later, but this guy, he was taking.
Reports from that area like The Guardian highlight how Morrison struggled with control, partly due to his muddled life with the street sides, trying to please friends and loyalties from his upbringing, even as Man United tried to support him. Ferguson later called Morrison one of the saddest cases of his career, praising his raw ability, but his background factors affected it.
He stole the shoes of Paul Scholes.
Really?
You know?
I want to ask about one specific player because we always hear in the academy or coming up, he was the best, he was the best, he was the best. Ravel Morrison, right? I want to hear from you because...
Really simple. Ravel, you know, I grew up in the street. Ravel is a player from the street.
100%.
And he forget to leave the street. That's it.
Yeah.
That's his only issue. Like gifted, talented. But the problem is his entourage. And sometimes, you know, this is really important. And Ravel did a lot of naughty things, you know, Manchester cover a lot of things. I remember a story, I think maybe this story went out. He stole the shoes of Paul Scholes.
Really?
You know, yeah. And they catch him on camera.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of silly things,
Yeah.
you know, he will do. So this is Ravel, you know.
It's Paul
But
Scholes though, man.
what a lovely
It's like, you know, like Mike, the film.
Yeah.
When he put the shoes on, you think you turn
they show him the video, he went in the dressing room like that.
But in training, when he's playing with, because that team, the
He was
first
training
team
with us.
amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's what I say. He came, he said like, I'm the man, I don't care about how many Premier League you won. This is the opposite of what Paul Pogba did when he
Over the next 7-8 years, he has patterns of short stints and instability throughout different clubs. He goes to Italy at Lazio, where he has problems and ends up coming back because a fan member is sick.
So I had a fallout because my mum was ill, and I tried to get back to my mum, and he didn't let me because he said, "Oh, I'm going to play in the game." So my mum was ill, so I went back, and he told me to come back because I'm going to start the game. So I went back, didn't start the game, didn't come on. So from there, I ended up just leaving Lazio and stayed at home because I had to look after my little brothers, and it was just my nan there. My mum was on life support, so I'm going to leave my little brothers just to go back there, and I weren't playing.
See, that's in itself that you think, oh, he's just fucked Lazio, I've gone home.
It's not, I don't care what people think, but someone's always going to have an opinion about you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say, do you know what I mean?
He goes to Atlas in Mexico. He even travels to Sweden, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, the Netherlands, Derby County. He has flashes of his talent again, but frequent disruptions where they criticise his discipline, his attitude and club fallouts. He gets over 200 appearances and 30 goals. But then he comes to an old Manchester United player. He ends up playing for MLS DC United, released early 2023. He had a stint under Wayne Rooney. In December 2023, a really bizarre case, he's convicted of fraud after pleading guilty to using a deceased person's blue badge disabled parking permit in Manchester. He gets fined £1,000, renewed criticism for exploitative behaviour. Between 2024 and 2025, he was a free agent, 18 months long. He does interviews and reflects on his older, stupid mistakes and expresses regrets about his path. Rules out some of the wild rumours, but was eyeing a return to potential Championship or League Two.
If you had your time again, you'd have asked for help.
Yeah, definitely. I'd have asked for help, and I'd definitely knuckled down.
Would you look back on your time and growing up, even now, would you say you had some problems yourself?
Like with depression and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, when I was in Italy, I was very depressed. I wasn't playing, could be the best player in training, and you was never going to get the opportunity. And yeah, it was dark then. I was going through a dark time in life then.
Is it possible to talk to teammates, to the manager?
No, never really.
Haven't you?
No,
Just kept it to yourself?
I think it's women are all right with doing stuff like that. They all talk in groups, but when a male's got a problem, it's difficult to speak out, isn't it? Like just to pull someone and tell someone how you're actually feeling.
Is it still the case today? Do you hear any players talking about their mental state of mind or anything like that?
It's still the same, it's not good. It's just like there'd probably be someone in this changing room right now, which is sad.
Suffering.
And yeah, it's probably in every changing room. There's at least one person that's suffering. Not everyone's going to be happy, but if someone would speak out, I'm going to be there for anyone in that changing room.
He ends up joining a UAE 2nd Division 14th club before moving on to Arabian Falcons FC, also in the UAE 2nd Division. He's had limited appearances and occasional commentary on football, and he's nowhere near playing at the level he once was.
Pogba said something in a video about yourself.
Let's play the clip.
Is the best player of my generation, the generation 93 that I've seen. I saw stuff, Neymar quality that we saw when he was at Santos. Ravel was doing this.
That's crazy.
Neymar. Those are astronomical names to be
forget the names, bro. I said the best of not one of the best of the generation.
When you hear things like that, because he's not the only person that said that, and I'm not saying when he said it then, you would have heard that when you was younger, when it was going on. How do you keep your feet on the ground? Like, does it affect you?
No, not really, just don't really pay attention to it. It's just words, isn't it?
But
obviously it is nice to hear. I respect like everyone saying it, but it's just words.
Did you feel it?
Nah, not Neymar's level, no.
When you were younger, did you know about Neymar and that?
Yeah,
And
of course.
Everyone knew who.
Yeah, I knew about Neymar.
We do not need to end this on a negative. He still played football for a long time at a top level and earned good money throughout his career. Obviously, people had very high expectations of him, but this last clip sums up pretty much what happened and why he didn't make it to the heights that people were thinking.
This was a kid who, when he was at Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the land, was known as the most talented boy of his generation. They were saying like he was the biggest talent they'd ever seen in the last 30 years since a guy called Paul Gascoigne. He was that naturally talented. But because he went down the wrong path, because he had trouble focusing, because he wasn't the most disciplined, because he wasn't the best mentally, I don't think Ravel Morrison has a club. He used to play at last season at the worst club in the second division. And this was a kid who, ability-wise, could have done anything. If you're not prepared to work, even if you've got this insane talent, it ain't going to matter.
No.